I used to work on Wall Street, and occasionally you'll see a bunch of white dudes, and there's always that token black man, in certain cases, black woman that wants to assimilate or just fit in. They get in to fit in, and I always was bewildered and shocked at the mannerisms of either that black man or that black woman that would want to fit in so bad with these white boys or white women from corporate, human resources, purchase and sales, buy-ins, you name it, whatever position or office they were associated with, in the Wall Street area, or whatever employment they attach themselves with. It just always baffled me why they would just do this to themselves. But I understand you want to fit in so bad, and you think that that's the pathway, that's the door, and you give up so much of yourselves when you do this. I would just look. I've been in firms where I was the only, well, one of three black people in the firm, and I would be that spook who sat beside the door. I go along just to figure them out, make my money, and then get out. But I never gave my soul to these. Let me be careful what I say to these people. I never gave my soul to them. I was just, I'm a very observant brother. You know, I'll sit for hours and just watch people walk or talk or just, I'm very observant, man. I'm very observant. But this brother put himself in a very bad situation. I don't know if it's confirmed that these white boys or whoever he was with murdered him. I do not have all the details. I'm not going to jump to conclusions. I'm gonna let all the facts come out. But that always baffled me, and it's always some weirdo crap when you sit with these guys. Guys meaning these, white guys, or whether you're a Wall Street, you're corporate, or maybe you're a blue collar worker. I don't know, but it's always some gay tendencies that come out at some point, or it's just something really just disgusting that comes out after a couple of drinks. I've been to functions with the firm and sat down with these people, and it's always something weird. It's always weird, and they use drugs too. Cocaine is the drug of choice, cocaine and marijuana, but it's always something in the negative. And I could never put myself in a position where I'm hanging out with these people like this brother. I could never do that. And I'm not trying to be racist. I'm just saying from my experience and from what I have seen that, these things come out after a while. They come out. And usually the mannerisms of the black man or the black woman who becomes the token, their whole demeanor, their whole character, their whole spirit just changes. They start acting and talking like the white man and the white woman. They'll do anything to fit in and not look bad and disassociate themselves from their own people. I'm not saying that's the case with this brother. I'm not saying that. I'm speaking in general. They have to get in to fit in, or fit in to get in. Mannerisms totally change. They sound like carbon copy white boys or white women. I once heard a white man speak in regards of a sister who was doing this crap, saying that, yo, meaning the sister, she sounds more white than me. I never forget it. I used to work in Manhattan on 51st Street at that time. And they said, this black woman sounds more white than me. And she was married. A lot of these women are married to white dudes. And then you got the black men that lick the kneecaps of these same white dudes, and it's just absolutely pathetic. Then they'll come around me and look at me like, "What's wrong with me?" But it's just really crazy, and it's just something I've noticed. Here's an article I found interesting that kind of relates to what's I'm talking about. It's what I'm talking about. It says the desire for acceptance, often discussed as a survival mechanism or legacy of assimilation, a history stems from a history where white approval was tied to economic opportunity and physical safety. If it's white, it's right. I could kind of relate to that. I see it more than that. I see it as weakness and mental programming from the system and the powers that be. You know, I hope they resolve this case though, and this brother receives justice. But in our book, the scriptures tell us, not to put our trust in the enemy. That's what it tells us in our book. And you don't need the book to know just how you can put yourself in a really bad situation like this. I remember I had a supervisor, and uh white dude used to hook me up with overtime all the time, and he stacked his money and bought a cabin way up north New York, and he invited us to come to the cabin and drink some beers and so on and so forth. I wasn't going up there, man, but he showed us a picture of his friends, and these were straight hillbilly uh red necks type of white boys. There's no way I was going up there. But a fool that would want to fit in, a fool that would want to get ahead or make extra money or just get in to fit in or fit in to get in, he or she would do that. And that's because you watch too many TV shows, too much TV on social media to the point you believe that you can fit in. And I just don't see that for the life of me. I don't believe you can just fit in that easily. You understand? Because God created us to be the gods of this earth. And me and a friend had this discussion. God created the black man and the black woman to be the gods of this earth. And when you are inferior or you feel weak, you will envy God's greatest creation on this planet, and that's the black man and the black woman. You will envy the powers and the special spirit that God has blessed us with, even in oppression and this current captivity and in our worst conditions, we still shine as the gods that God created us to be. And they envy this, and they will murder and kill. Cain killed his brother because the brother chose to follow God and be in the spirit of God. Now, here's the $1,000,000 question. Here's the $1,000,000 question. When you look at this picture, who is more likely to connect with God and do what's right, even in ignorance, naturally? You understand? So it's nothing personal. It's nothing racist. I just believe in 1+1 = 2. And if we're God's chosen people, if we're God's special people, if we're the special people around the earth that everyone envies and wants to be like, but not be around, when you put yourself in a position as a token, you put yourselves in a very, very dangerous position, a very dangerous position. And, that's just the way I see it. Maybe I'm a fool. I don't think I'm a fool, but you put yourselves in a very, very dangerous position when you become a token. Shalom, Amat. So it's just something to think about. I've been in companies and firms where I'm the only black person or one of three black people, and I've heard them use the N word just blatantly, say all types of brash, wicked things, not just to me, but to the other black people. But they would have a fear of me for some reason. I know what it is, but they would be very careful as far as what they would say with to me because I wouldn't associate with them or the weak slaves that were in the company because I could see right through the BS. I could see right through the BS. But these are not ordinary people. A lot of people believe that all people are the same and everybody is a rainbow people. You're a fool. You know, we're not the same as them, and they're not the same as us. That's the proper understanding. We're not the same people. And I'm not saying that to be evil. I'm just saying observe your surroundings, observe the people you associate with. Even in our book, it tells us to know them that labor with us. You have to know them that you work with on another level. You have to know those that you do business with on another level. You have to know the history and the background of the very people you're trying to assimilate with or be like. And when you check it out, that's not the place to be. Don't be a token. Be a man and woman of God and realize that every nation, every nation envies and hates you. Every nation. Doesn't matter how you feel. Doesn't matter, as far as if you let your emotions get the best of you. Every nation envies and hates us as a people. I'm out.